Looking for the best GPU for the Ryzen 9 9900X? The 9900X is one of the most impressive high-end CPUs for both productivity and gaming. However, a CPU is only as good as the rest of the components you pair it with, and the GPU is the most important building block. A good graphics card will provide the best frame rates, and it's also beneficial for productivity tasks such as video editing and AI. In this video, I've picked the 3 best GPUs to pair with the 9900X across different budgets. One if you don't want to overspend, another one if you need top performance and money is not an issue, and another that balances performance and value. Current prices and all GPUs mentioned in the video are available in the description. Let's get straight to it, starting with the budget pick, the ASRock Challenger Intel Arc B580. Intel barely has any market share in the GPU space, mainly because they are relatively new competitors to Nvidia and AMD. However, low market share is all the more reason for them to step up with great performance and value. These departments are exactly where the ASRock Intel Arc B580 shines, pairing a robust design with Intel's latest graphics chip. The Arc B580 is the successor to the Arc A580, and the improvements here are substantial. First off, we get a VRAM bump from 8GB to 12GB, significantly improving performance in games where high-quality textures are a concern. It has a higher boost clock of up to 2.7 GHz on the ASRock Challenger variant, and it's up to 40% faster than its predecessor in 1080p gaming. Comparing it to a similarly priced RTX 4060, it's about 5% faster and features 4GB more VRAM. It's also 4% faster than the RX 7600 XT. While it's not primarily a 1440p card, neither are any of the other cards available in this price bracket. Most of these performance improvements come from Intel's new Battlemage GPU architecture. The new architecture brings improvements to upscaling, frame generation, ray tracing, and of course raw rasterization, meaning traditional rendering without upscaling or ray tracing. As for the specific variant, I recommend the ASRock Challenger B580 as it's one of the cheapest versions of the card. Despite the cheap price tag, the Challenger features a full metal backplate, RGB lighting, and 2 high-performance fans. It's a dual-slot graphics card, meaning it will fit into any case with ease, and it comes with a single 8-pin power connector, and a 500-watt power supply is recommended. The color scheme is simple, with an all-black appearance that will work with almost any build. Compared to the reference version of the B580, the specs here are very similar. It has the same 12GB of VRAM, 20 ray tracing cores, and 160 tensor cores. The only real difference is the boost clock bump to 2740 MHz, which translates to a 2.6% overclock. In terms of ports, you get 3 DisplayPort 2.1 ports and 1 HDMI 2.1 port. At 1080p, when paired with the 9900X, there is no CPU bottleneck at all. This means you'll be maximizing the GPU to its full potential. At 1080p, 83 FPS is the average across a wide variety of titles. In competitive titles such as Counter-Strike 2, Marvel Rivals, and Black Ops 6, expect well over 120 FPS even with high settings. Maximizing your high refresh rate monitor has never been cheaper. The closest competitor to this card would be the RTX 4060. For people who care about raw performance and VRAM, the Arc B580 outshines it in both departments. The 4060 does pull ahead in ray tracing and upscaling technology, but you should not be prioritizing such features over performance in this budget end of the spectrum. Unfortunately, there is a major downside with this card, and it has nothing to do with the card itself. Thanks to the ongoing GPU shortage and increasing demand for budget cards, the Arc B580 is very difficult to find at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. This GPU only makes sense if you can find it for under $300, which is getting increasingly difficult day by day. However, if you do get it at a good price, you'll be very happy with the overall performance. The ASRock Challenger is a great variant, and temperatures never exceed 70 degrees while gaming. It's a great 1080p card that won't break the bank, and 12GB of VRAM ensures that you never run into struggles with textures not loading. To sum up, what I like is the compact dual-slot design, the great performance for the price, it's power efficient and cheaper than the RTX 4060, and the 12GB of VRAM. On the downside, scarce availability at the manufacturer's suggested retail price. Next, we have the best premium pick for the 9900X, the Zotac Solid GeForce RTX 5080. NVIDIA's RTX 50 series launch hasn't exactly been great. There are numerous availability issues, problems with the 12-pin power connector, and dubious marketing claims. However, if you drown out all the noise and focus on the RTX 5080 itself, it's a very strong GPU for 4K gaming. This is especially true for the Zotac Solid variant, which is one of the best variants around this generation. Compared to its predecessor, the RTX 4080, the RTX 5080 has a lot of improvements on paper. It has 10% more cores, a slightly higher boost clock at 2.6 GHz, and 16 GB of GDDR7 memory instead of GDDR6. The 5080 also gets a few exclusive features, such as multi-frame generation. As usual, you also get significantly improved ray tracing and AI performance. Compared to its closest AMD equivalent, the Radeon RX 7900 XTX, the RTX 5080 is already 15% faster in most games. This is without factoring in ray tracing and upscaling. Once you add in those parameters, the gap widens to about 40% at 4K. If you're wondering how it stands next to its last-gen counterpart, the 5080 outperforms the RTX 4080 by 14% and the 4080 Super by 15%. A lot of these performance improvements come down to the increased CUDA, Tensor, and RT cores. The new Blackwell architecture also features multi-frame generation, which is a technology that leverages AI to predict and generate additional frames in real time. Previously, the RTX 40 series could only add one generated frame, but MFG allows for up to 3 generated frames. While this improves performance in a lot of games, it also adds latency in many titles. For the specific variant, I recommend the Zotac Solid RTX 5080. Usually I'd recommend Asus's high-end line for such a premium graphics card, but this time they've failed to deliver on reliability as their 5080 cards are running into a multitude of issues. Instead, the Zotac Solid is a more robust card with better cooling and durability. It's also quite the looker. The black and gold aesthetic reminds you of the good old Titan XP days, even though the overall footprint is substantially bigger. This is a gigantic triple-slot card that has a length of 13 inches. It's not going to fit into any ITX case with ease, and might even struggle with a lot of micro ATX cases. Thankfully, it runs cool thanks to the triple fan design. Out of the box, it comes with a 3x8-pin to 12-volt high-power cable, a GPU support stand, and what Zotac calls a Spectra Link cable for more control over ARGB lighting. Speaking of which, there's only one small RGB zone near the right end of this graphics card. This works well given the card's cleaner aesthetic. For performance, when paired with the Ryzen 9 9900X, expect exceptional frame rates in almost any game, even at 4K. Without ray tracing, the solid 5080 delivers an average of 97 FPS at 4K. Enabling the highest ray tracing settings at 4K will lower frame rates by quite a bit, but the new DLSS 4 upscaling technology helps to even out the performance there. So the story comes down to price. The RTX 5080 is already an expensive GPU, and even more expensive if we factor in the GPU shortage and limited availability. Other options would be an RX 9070 XT, however, while that card is cheaper and has slightly better availability, it's noticeably slower than the RTX 5080, especially at 4K with ray tracing. The Zotac Solid RTX 5080 is a great high-end graphics card if you can buy it. The performance is fantastic, new features such as multi-frame generation are enticing, and the appearance of this card is very premium. To sum up, what I like is the fantastic performance at 4K. DLSS 4 is a game changer, it's quite efficient for an 80-class card, and the high-end design. On the downside, it's extremely hard to find at a good price, and gigantic size limits case choices. Finally, my top pick to pair with the 9900X is the PowerColor Red Devil AMD Radeon RX 9070 XT. AMD has been struggling to deliver a decent value proposition compared to Nvidia for a couple of generations now. While Radeon cards always have great raw performance, they usually have uncompetitive pricing and poor results in ray tracing. AMD is looking to change that with the 9070 XT. The PowerColor Red Devil variant, in particular, nails the balance between price and power, even if it's not as flashy as its pricier siblings. While the 9070 XT doesn't have a direct predecessor, it serves as an upgrade to the RX 7900 GRE. It trades a few cores for a significantly higher boost clock, up to 3.06 GHz, and RDNA 4's architectural tweaks, delivering 20% faster rasterization than the GRE, and even 6 to 8% gains over the 7900 XT. Compared to Nvidia's closest competitor, the RTX 5070 Ti, it's just 9% slower in raw performance, but 25% cheaper, a trade-off that's more than worth it with the current GPU market. Most importantly, AMD's new RDNA 4 architecture brings AMD's ray tracing and AI capabilities closer to that of Nvidia. FSR 4, AMD's upscaling alternative to DLSS, now uses machine learning and AI algorithms to improve upscaling. While it's not quite as sharp as DLSS 4, it's a massive leap over FSR 3 and DLSS 3, with almost better than native image quality and motion handling. The Red Devil itself is a beast of a card. Like most powerful GPUs, this is a triple-slot card that's gigantic in size. It is 13.4 inches long and chunkier than most mid-range GPUs. As expected, you won't be fitting this into any ITX or even most micro ATX cases with ease. Fortunately, the 3-fan cooling keeps temps surprisingly tame even under load. The black shroud with red accents and aggressive RGB lighting mimics the classic gamer aesthetic that you all know and love. Fortunately, Power Color has restrained the flashy aesthetic with the mostly black appearance, giving the Red Devil a clean look with a subtle red glow. It comes with a GPU support bracket and an addressable RGB LED cable that can plug into your motherboard or fan controller. In terms of performance, when paired with a Ryzen 9 9900X, expect excellent frame rates at 1440p. For games like Cyberpunk 2077, Alan Wake 2, and God of War Ragnarok, you get a smooth 120 FPS with the highest settings. Competitive titles are not a problem either, as Counter-Strike 2 can run at 250 FPS with the highest settings at 1440p. Interestingly, the 9070 XT also handles a surprising number of titles at 4K. FSR 4 upscaling helps here, and most games are playable at 4K with the right mix of settings and upscaling. When it comes to the competition, the 5070 Ti costs around $150 more, and it doesn't offer all that much more in terms of performance. The standard RTX 5070 is closer in price, but suffers from 4GB less VRAM and worse performance. However, the 9070 XT does draw more power than either card. So, that makes the RX 9070 XT the best performing mid-range GPU of this generation. It's the one you should be buying instead of the 5070 or 5070 Ti because of the value proposition alone. Best of all, it pairs well with high-end CPUs such as the Ryzen 9 9900X. To sum up, what I like is the stellar performance across the board, the competitive pricing, the iconic red and black design, and the major improvements with FSR 4. On the downside, it draws more power than RTX 5070 and 5070 Ti, and the actual market price is higher these days. Thanks for staying till the end. Remember, you can check current prices in the description below. If you're looking to optimize your PC even further, don't stop here. We have more videos filled with suggestions and reviews to help you make the best decisions.